Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Quebec Homestead. This is my garden, and this is the good, the bad, and the ugly of my gardens this year. This is a collaboration started by CJM Farms, and he wanted to see all our gardens and see what was going good, what was going bad. Maybe we can learn from each other, and also it's a great way to meet other channels. So he tagged Me and You Acres, which tagged me, and I'm going to be tagging 3 other channels at the end of this video, so stay tuned to see what I have growing and what's going good, what's going bad. I forgot to mention my name is Mallory, and if you would like to support my channel, the best thing you could do is to hit that thumbs up button. You're probably gonna get a kick out of the ugly. It's so bad. So this year has been a really dry season for us, and it's really not common around here because we usually have a lot of rainfall. I mean, we did have a lot of rain, but in the beginning of the season, I had to water things manually a lot. Lately, we had a really cold spell and it rained, and so the weeds are like crazy right now. What are the things that I'm really proud of in my garden this year? Are my tomatoes. My tomatoes are doing exceptionally good. Considering the dry season we had, everything's doing really good, even though I had to water a lot. But the rainwater really does do a difference. The nitrogen-filled water is just amazing for the plants. I've just seen the growth overnight after a rainfall is just so amazing. Everything's flowering very well. I got some fruits on my tomatoes. Everything's very green and lush. I'm really satisfied with my tomatoes so far. These are my onions from last year. I planted them out so that I could get some seeds. And these are a heirloom variety. They're called Cipollini. And I'm really happy to be able to get some seeds from these this year, because they kept really good all winter long. And as you guys know, in Quebec here, we have a very long winter. Got some wild raspberries. Got a huge patch. And they are producing surprisingly well, considering that last year they did not produce at all. I just love that they're all here wild right next to the garden, along with this really big patch of rhubarb. Look how tangled this rhubarb is. I'm gonna have to come and pick this. Make some yummy strawberry rhubarb pie. Yum yum. I planted potatoes in 2 different styles. Under the ground with hay on top, and right on the ground with hay over top, like the Ruth Stout method. No potato bugs this year, though on my broccoli, my cauliflower, on my cabbage, the butterflies are out. So there's a lot of damage on those, on the leaves, so I'm gonna have to spray those down. I went to the garden center and I got me some spray. It's called Safeguard. Actually, it's called Safer's Trounce Yard and Garden Insecticide. And they told me that it was safe and mostly organic, so I'm going to try that this year. So this is what the butterflies, they lay their eggs, and now I have some caterpillars on here, which I will try to come out here and spray. It's got to stay wet, so you got to make sure that what I do usually is I will spray underneath the leaves with my hose very vigorously, because they don't want to lay on wet stuff. So I'm going to come out here, spray everything down, and see if that'll help a little bit. I don't want to be eating some green little critters in my broccoli like last year. If I'm being honest though, those pests aren't that bad. They're not like destroying too much, but I got 2 pests in the garden that have been destroying a little bit this year. One's called Jude, one's called Ariel. They, bless their hearts, they want to help so much around the garden, and they were trying to help me weed because Mommy's been weeding a lot. And unfortunately, they weeded out a lot, like a big row of snap peas and some other good stuff. So these green beans would have been a lot taller and probably would already have some beans on them if they weren't pulled out by a toddler. So, yeah, that happens. This year I got this garden set up and I got the excavator in here. If you haven't seen that video, go check out the link right here. I have the thumbnail Bye Bye Garden, because this was a market garden last year and I transformed it into a more aesthetic style garden because I wanted to change a little bit the style of the way that I'm growing here and get more permaculture and work more in synergy with nature. So I got the excavator in here and going through it, I was like, yeah, this is beautiful. This is going to be gorgeous. But then I got the drone up, and up in the sky, it sort of looks like a, yeah, you probably heard that right or saw it right. So that's pretty much the ugly of the garden. I need to reorient this because if I want to get some really cool shots up high, I don't want to have that as like, hey, I'm the garden girl, you know? Which Ben was like, hey, you know, your garden sort of does look like a male sexual organ, which I don't want that. I just love being out here and seeing the mountains in my garden. What an amazing spot. I planted this prune cherry tree 2 years ago, and unfortunately in my area it's just so overgrown in the forest, and with the birds coming in and out, they got the black nodule on my branches, so I'm gonna have to treat this tree and hopefully I'll be able to save it. But I got a cherry tree right next to it, so I'm thinking maybe prune trees and those type of trees are going to be a lot more difficult than I thought in the beginning, but it's growing really well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and tag 3 channels down in the description below. All the links are going to be there. I'm tagging Mark from Rolling Homestead and Wild Edibles. I want to see what's going on in your garden. Berry Mountain Homestead and True North Life. 3 channels that I think are worth looking into and subscribing to. And go check out everybody that has participated with CJM Farms. And thank you, Me Acres, for tagging me for this collab. I thought that was really cool to do. And hopefully I showed you a little bit of an overview of my garden. It's just so big I can't do like a little short tour, but I'm gonna have to do a long version of my garden tour this year. So see ya.